Have you ever imagined if you tell yourself you're going to achieve something in the next 10 years, or what do you want to become in the next years, and you are like 100% sure that you will achieve it? And what are the things that can give you that assurance that you will achieve it? As a common saying, say, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Today, I want to share a secret wisdom of the universe, secret wisdom of God. Now, we have to understand this, that God is in charge of the universe, okay? And he has poured out the Spirit on all of us. Our younger daughters prophesy. Our old men dream dreams. Our young men see visions. That was a message from God, right? And he also says that the future we see, the dream we have, maybe in the next 10 years, or next 5 years, or next 2 years, is for that expected time. But sometimes it might not be exactly the time we wanted it, right? So sometimes it might delay. But he said we should keep at it, for it shall come to pass, it shall not delay. So if God has showed you a vision or a dream of something from inside you, is telling you that this is what you're going to be in the future, you should not be discouraged. You should keep at it. But let me share the secret wisdom of God. And that secret wisdom is in that saying, as a man thinketh, so is he. Why is it so? Because the spiritual controls the physical. And the predominant thoughts in our hearts direct what we focus on, what we say, what we think about, what we spend our time, energy, and resources on. So if we say we're going to become, say, a medical doctor in the next 5 years, I'm just giving an example, or you're going to become a multi-millionaire in the next 5 years, dreams you have, direct your focus, direct your thoughts, direct your research, direct what you spend money on, right? And that is if only you can concentrate on those thoughts. So one of the issues people have is inability to have control of their thoughts. Why do I say that? You started well by having good thoughts of becoming a multimillionaire. But along the way, issues of life coming, distractions coming, some other things you have to do that are pressing, they come in. And you lose focus on those thoughts. And let me remind you again, your predominant thoughts is what directs your focus. So initially, you started with a predominant thought of wanting to become a multimillionaire or wanting to solve a big problem in the world. But along the line, other things come in and they upturned that predominant thoughts. And you found out, if you can really measure on an average rate, all the thoughts that have come to your mind in a day, in 24 hours, all the thoughts have come to your mind. Let's remove the time you were asleep. That's part of it, but let's just remove it for now. And you can analyze all those thoughts. How many or how much of those thoughts are concentrated on that dream you have of becoming a multimillionaire? You started well. You started thinking so much about it. But after a while, you lose focus. Most of your thoughts are being concentrated on disappointments, or being concentrated on fear or doubts, or they are being concentrated on the past. They are being concentrated on negative things people have said, or you have seen, or what the environment have shown you that looks like, hey, that dream will not come to fruition. And I want to remind you again that whatever you think in your mind is what you are. So, and it's not just everything you think, it's your predominant thoughts is going to direct you to become what that thought is all about. So if you can have your predominant thoughts can be concentrated. Maybe you can achieve like 70% of your thoughts in a day, every day, for the next 1 month is upon that dream that you have, that vision that you have seen. If 20%, if 70% of those thoughts are concentrated on that, you'll get it, you'll get there. But the challenge is, it is not so in reality. Those that are able to concentrate their thoughts on their dream or what they want to become are the achievers. But not more. Most people could not concentrate their thoughts. So what seems to be the problem? What seems to be the problem? All found out is if you are not following a plan of God, because this is what happened. God puts his purpose into our life, right? Put his purpose into our life. It's embedded inside us. So let me say, he put his purpose in our mind, in our soul, in our spirit. And what most people do is to do something contrary. Because they do something contrary, they are always in conflict with what God has already put inside of them. They're in conflict. Because they're in conflict, their thoughts are all over the place. They're all over the place. So let me put it to you that one of the ways in which you can be able to concentrate your mind on something for a long time is if you are able to recognize what God has put inside of you, the purpose he has put inside of you, and you're able to identify the gifts that will help you to fulfill that purpose. You can reduce conflicts, even in the midst of chaos. You can still have a clear vision, like an eagle, of what the purpose of God is, and you can still be able to concentrate on them. I remember when I knew my assignments, and I knew for the fact that this is what God has put inside of me, a lot of things happened that made me to be distracted a little bit. But in the midst of everything that was happening, I'll tell you this, I don't want to go too spiritual, but I'll tell you this. The agenda of the spirit of corruption is to kill, steal, and destroy. The agenda of the spirit of light is to give you abundance, and abundance in everything you do. So the thing is this: concentrating on life purpose gives you abundance. Because the agenda of the enemy is to tout that, is to make that not to come to fruition. You start having chaos all over the place. You start having things around you that will distract you. So that's for sure. You start having problems you did not anticipate will start coming up. Right? But they're all temporal problems. They're all temporal. Sometimes some of us take it as permanent problems and will take decisions that will make us to be more distant from achieving our dream, our vision. But the problems are temporal. If we know that they are temporal, in the midst of all the chaos, we understand that this is what God wants us to do. And we understand we already possess the ability to do it. And we understand that we just need to settle down and begin to work towards it. Yeah, there's a lot of work involved. And we are able, in the midst of all the chaos, to still be able to settle down. But that's what happened to me. In the midst of all the chaos, I could still wake up at night, in the middle of the night, and clear off all the chaos that was happening and spend some time, even if it is, I remember those days would just be like for 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the night. I could concentrate because once the day started, the chaos was all over the place. So in the midst of all the chaos, I could still get up quietly in the middle of the night and spend 2 to 3 hours working towards the plan, the vision God has shown me. So, and that's why I say, if you are able to know the plan of God for you, and you're able to surrender to it and concentrate on pursuing it and bringing it to reality. It helps you to be able to have a clear vision and to be able for you to concentrate your thoughts on that vision, even in the midst of chaos. Because chaos will happen, because that's the plan of the spirit of corruption. So it will happen. But in the midst of it, you're still able to concentrate on those thoughts. Concentrate your thoughts, the thoughts of your mind, on those things that will eventually give you fulfillment, success, and all the things that you want. Then that is when you really say you are overcoming. So another thing that helps us is to be able to write all these visions down. So write it down so that you can remind yourself. So when the chaos happen, you can remind yourself that this is the vision. I suggest you write it down everywhere. Everywhere. One of the strategies I learned from some of my mentors, write this thing down every day. No matter how early, or no matter how much you are rushing to get out, still find some few seconds or a couple of minutes, I would say, to write it down. That is, take your legal pad, right? And write those visions down again. What they mean, and probably your plans towards it. So as you write it down, it reminds you of what it is that God has shown you. It reminds you of what it is that's going to happen, the vision of that success. It reminds you, so it keeps your thoughts alive and keep your thoughts concentrated on that vision. So always remember to write it down. Write down your vision every day. Some people say, and I accept that too. I do that as well sometimes, not every time. I write it down twice a day. Write it down in the morning when you wake up. Write it down in the evening before you go to bed. Well, I can't say I follow that every time, but at least I try to write it down once a day. Another strategy, and this will be my last one for today, that will help you to be able to concentrate your thoughts on that great plan. Because whatever you concentrate upon, remember, it's what's going to happen. That's who you are. That's what is going to be. Is put it in prayer. Sometimes we need the grace to concentrate on those thoughts. We need the help of God to be able to concentrate on those thoughts, especially when we're having a lot of pressures that seem to be pulling us away from the plan. In those circumstances, you need to pray. God is the one that's given this plan. So you are in partnership with God to bring this plan to fruition. Because what God has done is to show you what He's going to do through you. Not for your sake, but for His own sake. Right? He knows what He's going to do in the universe. And He has to do it through some people, to all of us, I would say. But as an individual, He has to do certain things through you to achieve His plan. So you're in partnership with God. And as much as we know that we're in partnership with God, we still need to commit our ways, because God has given us a free will to know, are we still in partnership with Him? The only way we can know that we're still in partnership with Him is to commit it in prayers. Commit it in prayers. Ask for the grace to be able to concentrate on those thoughts. Ask for the grace to be able to focus on those plans. Ask for the grace to be able to focus on the vision. Ask for the grace not to be discouraged. Ask for the grace to have your dominant thoughts in your mind to concentrate on that vision God has shown you. And magically, you'll just see that you are able to overcome all the negative influences that those chaos bring, and still able to concentrate your thoughts on that great plan God has for you. I hope you got something today. Remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. God bless.